say go call you. Thank you, Jesus.
Guys, we're here. Happy New Year and all that. You know what I'm saying? First one on the year, guys. We have a very, very special guest, guys. This person, there's so much about her that the intro that I would like to give would give away too much. So we're just gonna get into it, guys. But we're here with my good friend. I don't know what name you want me to use, but I would say Tess.
Tess,
But
yeah.
Tess,
Perfect.
guys. This is Tess, guys. How
Hello.
are you doing?
I'm okay.
All right.
I'm great. I'm fantastic.
That's what we like to hear.
Absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. Just guys, she let us into her garage. You know what I'm saying? We're in her humble abode. You know what I'm saying?
It's my nice little 2-car garage that I try and live out of. Well, not live out of, but
you work out of it. We're working out of it, guys. And that's just the big part of this entire meeting, guys. It's gonna be a lot of talk that I'm probably just guys. You have to take notes because it's gonna be a lot of just things being thrown out there, terminology, the whole nine that I'm not gonna know. But guys, I tried. This is all that matters, right? But look, let's just get right into it. Let's just tell us about you. You know where you're from, because you've actually been in a lot of places.
Been a lot, yeah.
You've been in a lot of places, but let's just start. Where you from? You know what the whole nine is.
Where I was born and raised in LA. The Valley.
The Valley.
Yeah.
In a really interesting spot too, because I've only been past there one time.
Culver City?
No, what's it called? That other place.
Shadow Hills?
Yeah, I've only been past there one time.
Have you been there?
I've been
a
there.
lot of people haven't even heard of it. It's like a little.
It's a small, like, I don't know, because I like to explore.
It's a weird like community kind of like this little tiny horse property, like old ways farm
like
animal
Amish
type place just in the middle of like Burbank and Sunland and like all these big city type areas. And it was a really weird place to grow up that I didn't even realize it was.
It's still like, I don't know, it's like I don't know, like even here, like, you know, say we're between all these cities and then you have Lancaster. You know what I'm saying?
It's kind of the same, except you don't like drive out of the neighborhood, get to a stop sign, and all of a sudden you're in Burbank.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but it's like, I like rural areas like that, or like colonial Amish type areas. Like, that shit is so cool to me.
Now I was an Amish when I was growing up.
I love Amish like ideas. Just like, brother, they're on a horse right now.
I saw Amish for the first time like a month ago.
How was that?
Or like 2 months ago. They were just, riding their little carriage down the street. We drove right by them in our motorized vehicle.
They're just heathens. Just
Yeah.
like the idea of like, I don't know, like Dave Chappelle said it when he was like, he lives near him because he lives in like Ohio. So
That's where I was. I was in Ohio, yeah.
Which makes sense on why you were just like, how you see it. But like, he was like, my car could go 12 miles in like a minute or like, whatever. He's like, and you would have to take like an entire day. You have to plan your day out. Like, that's fucking insane. I couldn't do it.
Insane.
I would renounce it. Let's just figure it out. But they build houses really quickly. Like,
really?
Oh my God.
I didn't know that. I heard they build really good furniture, but
they build everything good. Like, their entire life is like building shit. Like, you can't go to a store. So I don't think they do. I wonder how they get.
I think they all have different rules. I think like the different communities have their different ways of life, and like some of them can have cell phones, some of them can drive a car.
I feel like it's
some of them can't do anything. I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure out where they get this stuff. Like, how are you getting these hammers and shit? But they
make them. You find a rock and you hit something with it. That's it. I don't know.
I'm just saying, it's just an interesting way to go. But yeah, so you said, so it's interesting being out there. What was it like? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as far as like how was schools? Like, what was, what's it kind of like living in that area?
It was just, it's not the same. So say you grew up in like Sunland, you're not going to say, we woke up, we put saddles on the horses and my dad and I rode horses down to my elementary school and then I got off and went to school. Like, it was just different. It was weird. It was the coolest thing in the world because every Halloween, the whole neighborhood shut down. Like, no traffic in or out of the neighborhood. And it was just children running rampant through the whole neighborhood. And this is like, I would say like a square mile at least, or a couple miles.
Yeah.
And like cul-de-sacs and like just a whole neighborhood.
That sounds like a real Halloween.
And like the parents just stay in the house and the kids just run out the door and they run. It was the coolest thing ever. And we moved up here and I was like, what is this? What kind of place did you take me to? This is terrible. You have to escort me everywhere because there's gangs? Like, what? We lived in the valley and we come up here for a nicer place to live and now you can't, like, I can't run around.
Can't do shit.
Yeah.
We can't do shit. And then, like, there ain't no square. There's not even, like, you go, like, depending on where you're at, like, because, like, if you lived more, like, I mean, because you're out here in, like, nowhere, though. Like, this is, like, nowhere.
This isn't that bad.
It's
I
not-
lived in Neenack before.
Lived in
That's
Neenack?
bad. That's
You're, like, the
middle of
only person
nowhere.
I've ever met that lived like that. I
Really?
won't go that far. That's past Antelope Acres and everything. Right?
Yeah, that's
no,
like,
no.
that's the sticks.
No.
That's
No. I
the
can't
hills
do it.
have eyes. Like,
Yeah, that's like that's real dark. Like actually, when it gets dark outside, like it gets dark. Like no, fuck that. That's crazy. When did you move there?
when I was a kid, just with my parents, it was, geez, when did I live out there?
You must
I
have a
think
lot
I
of
was
land.
like 500 acres. Yeah. There's a peach farm, there's a lake, there's a ghost town, like all in the property that we lived in. It was pretty cool. It was a log cabin.
Huh?
That place was really cool. But we only lived there for a few years.
But I mean, the peach trees must be nice though. It's a lot of.
They stopped watering them. And
it's
it's
just dead
so
peach trees?
every morning to go to school, I had to walk a mile down the hill
To go to the bus
through
stop?
these peach trees at 5 o'clock in the morning when it's dark outside. You know how scary that is?
That's the worst.
As like a
part.
12-year-old to be walking through.
And there's not like wild animals like this entire time. Like
Oh, there probably was, but I didn't get eaten. I'm still here. It's
that's what I'm
fine. I
saying. Like,
survived.
I'm
I
just
made
thinking,
it.
Like there's fruit around. There's just like you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying, like that sounds like such a recipe for like a mountain lion, like or something crazy like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't think I was like I used to have friends over and we would play hide and seek in the peach farm. So it was, terrible.
That sounds like a.
It's a miracle that I'm still alive here.
That
It's fine.
sounds like a beginning to like a fucking horror movie or some shit.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
absolutely,
Like-
100%. I don't know how I'm still. I don't know how I made it.
I mean, but you did. That's all that
I
matters.
did, yeah, and
You
I'm
know-
still risking my life every day, so it's fine.
I mean, and you know, to segue right into that, you're like the best female driver on this side of the Mississippi, and your Maverick is the fastest Maverick on this side of the Mississippi. Actually, probably in the world.
It's not the fastest Maverick in the world. I know that.
Who's
It's probably the fastest female-driven Maverick.
I mean, you got to give yourself something.
Yeah.
You pat yourself on the back for something. I mean, who's the first? The Tucson guy?
I don't know. There's some other Mavericks out there that are pretty fast.
I want to.
But see, I run no time, so nobody knows how fast I go.
Why?
So-
Why do you run no time? Curious.
It's a
and,
big-
and also tell everybody what the fuck that means. So no, you means you don't like clock your speed, or you
don't
clock
show it.
Ah.
So I do drag racing, not like
Oh, we're gonna get to that.
not drifting,
Yeah.
not rowdy racing, not like I just do drag racing, straight
Yeah.
line.
Just head up.
If you turn, it's a bad idea. I did it once. Don't do it again.
we're gonna get to that too.
So there is bracket racing, which is your car goes this fast, your car goes this fast. So since you're faster, this guy's gonna leave first, and then you're gonna have to chase him down, and it's gonna like
Even out.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's bracket racing. You show your times for bracket racing. It's okay. If you go faster than the time you say you're going to go, you lose. I don't want to
Really?
lose for going faster, so I don't do bracket racing.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea. That doesn't sound like a very strong.
I think bracket racing is a great way to learn how to race because it teaches you how to race your own race. It teaches you how to be good at leaving the light on time, and it teaches you to know your car and know your combination, and it's a very good learning type of racing.
Huh.
But what I do is no time racing. So it's like how do I explain it?
Just like, so like, well, how about walk us through a race. So like, if you were you line up, you're lining up by yourself, or you're lining up with another person.
With another person.
Okay, so
So most of the racing I do is shootout style. So you get like 16 cars and they all pair up. You pull chips to see who's racing who. And they, 16 cars. So it's 8 pairs race each other. Then there's 8 cars left. And then you go until there's only one left. And that person gets the pot.
yeah.
So all the money that everybody put in. So that's the big thing that I do. That's all no time. No time kind of started when I want to say like the timed races started losing people, started losing cars, because, you know, I've got my $20,000 car, and this guy that showed up in a big rig pulling 6 cars has a $100,000 car.
Yeah.
I'm not going to win against him. But if it's a no time class, you don't know what everybody else is running. Anything can happen. The guy with a $100,000 car can spin the tires and not make the full hit, and the guy that goes a second slower than him can win.
Yeah.
And you don't know what that margin is. So I feel like it's better for everybody.
It's just more. It seems just to be more fair, like, or at least not so like, I know the $100,000 car is going to beat me because this is this and this. It's more of a, I guess, more of a fighting chance, you know, instead of like a definite like this nigga's going to beat my time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, I would think. I mean, I might be wrong, but it's kind of like how I'm, I guess, processing it. You know?
Yeah. So we deal with like tenths of a second. So it's not anything you can count. Like a tenth of a second is a lot when in drag racing. So say someone goes like a 480. That's a 4.8 seconds.
Yeah.
So if you're going 480s and you're going to this race and you see that someone else is going 450s, they're 0.3 of a second faster than you. Why am I going to enter that race when I know this guy is 0.3 of a second faster?
Yeah.
But anything can happen.
Yeah. But
It's 0.3 of a second.
But you're taking a risk either way.
You can leave the light 0.3 of a second later.
Yeah.
That's really embarrassing when you lose because someone left late. But
it's, I mean, but how are like you have to obviously time it with the green, right? You're anticipating that light falling down and it being green, and you're taking off, but y'all be doing like wheelies and shit like that, and I be thinking like that doesn't that like cut down the time? Like doesn't like it goes slower, right?
Wheelies look really cool.
Yeah.
So that's all they're good for. They're just good for like wheelies look really cool. They're not fast.
Can't be.
They definitely like you want all your power to motivate you forward. You don't want it to motivate you up because then you're not motivating forward.
And I mean, is this something that you guys? I mean, curious. Is it something that you guys can fix? 'Cause, I mean, you guys do a lot of. I mean, it looks fucking tight. It looks cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen like the little indoor when y'all be having.
Yeah, I mean
this
part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so it's like that shit is cool. Like, you know, but like, is there like is there a way to like counteract it or something like that to make it not do that, or also too the fact that like you guys all have cars to do and you guys win a lot. Like what is that saying? Like, it's just that your catch up speed is that much.
It's not just that, but we do wheelies not on purpose.
Yeah, obviously.
If the wheelie happens, it's because we misread the track or we don't have the correct settings down. I think it's, if you see that whiteboard right there, it says 2711, 54%, 25 on front. So basically 2711, that's the weight of my car, 54% with 25 pounds on the front of the car. So it's 54% of the weight is on the front of the car.
Oh, shit.
And then it's like 54.5% with 50 on the front. So it's there's a lot that goes into getting your car to go down. A lot of it is the weight transfer, where you have the weight in your car, but a lot of it is suspension. So for the type of racing that I do is radio racing, which is a very sticky track. And
you gotta be pouring bleach and shit on the ground, isn't it? Some type of, now mind you, I might have to cut that out. But
it's not bleach.
It's a mix though, right? It's some type of mix that you guys are doing to make it happen.
Do we have any? I don't think we do. We might. So there's a few different kinds of stuff. There's PJ1. Well, it used to be PJ1. It's PJH now. It's like a glue, kind of.
Glue.
It's
makes the tire sticky.
It doesn't make the tire sticky. It makes the track sticky.
Okay.
Like, there will be people that lose their shoes and socks on the track. They call the type of racing that I do fly paper. Like, the track is fly paper. It
makes sense if you're
a good track. You can't walk on it flat-footed. You'll lose your shoes. It'll tear your shoes apart. It's super sticky because these cars are going really fast.
Yeah. Like, it has to really, you got some traction. You can't just fly off the, you know what I'm saying?
There's other type of racing, like no prep races, which we have a car in Ohio that we do no prep racing with. And that's just
No prep.
No prep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The stuff that they put down is prep.
Yeah.
So no
You're
prep.
just trying it out. Just going out there and doing it.
You have to be really good at reading the road and knowing how much power to put down to go out there.
Well,
and good at driving.
We definitely jumped the fucking gun, but like,
Yeah.
guys, she's a drag racer. If you guys didn't know that, you know what I'm saying? She's the top 5, you know what I mean? And not 5, you know what I'm saying? Doing a great job. How did you get into it? Because I know you were doing street racing before. That's kind of how it started, racing nitrous and other things like that. But give us the how you got into it. I'm very curious.
That's hard. So my dad was always into off-road stuff. He built Baja bugs and pre-runners, and he did the Baja 500, and I went down to Mexico with him and watched him like drive through the desert and wait 3 days for him to come back.
That's fucking crazy.
Insane. So I was always into like the automotive type thing. My dad raised me basically.
Seems like it.
Yeah. So I was always into automotive. I did auto shop in high school, and in auto shop they have this thing down in Pomona where they take high schoolers down there and they do a bunch of drag racing and engine build offs and all this stuff. So I just kind of fell in love with the drag racing aspect of it, and then I bought a Mustang. So I had this big truck with these big tires on it, and I would take it off road, which I probably shouldn't have. 'Cause it was my only vehicle, but I was a high schooler, so who cares?
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't gonna be the last one.
So yeah, I bought a Mustang and just, I didn't even race that thing. I just drove it. I raced my truck. I put nitrous on my truck, and I would go to the street races and like race all these little Hondas in this big old diesel truck.
In this gigantic truck.
This big 7,000-pound truck against these little 2,000-pound Hondas.
And just making it make sense. And then from there, it turned into...
There it progressed, yeah. I built my Maverick in 2012. And that was like my baby. And I've had that thing. I mean, I guess I still have it. It's just not in one piece anymore.
You have it, though. It's
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I guess it just kind of got out of hand.
It got out of hand. Out of hand.
Yeah, it started street racing because, I was poor. I just wanted to race. I just want to race. I don't want to have to pay a bunch of money to race. So I would street race.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was a Maverick. Not a lot of people have heard of a Maverick.
I definitely had to look it up. I'm not going to lie. I had to see what the fuck this was talking about. And I was like, I've never in my life ever seen one besides yours. So it's like, you have something unique for sure. I didn't even know it was like, I always thought it was a Mustang. Like, I thought it was a Mustang, like, the entire time. Like,
really?
Because it looked like older vintage cars back then, they all kind of had that, like, really, like, cylinder, chunky back tail. And for some reason, I was just always synonymous with making, it's a fucking Mustang. This is an old Mustang, whatever.
At least you call it a Mustang. Everybody else calls it a Camaro, which is not even the same, like, manufacturer.
No, they have, and like, Mustangs usually have like a bunch of shit on their back. So it'd be like the big bulky like brake lights, the fender, and then like something in the middle. And like for some reason it
the big gas cap. Yeah.
So like it looks like usually those look like
that's like a classic car type.
Yeah.
Big chunky.
Just a big chunky rear end, and like the front always just looks like a 2005 like Mustang. So I mean
Well, they made the 2005 Mustang to look like the old cars. So.
I was born in '96, guys. So it's like I have a very like streamline of like 2005 when I started realizing like cars look a certain way. That makes sense, yeah. So but like so it's like I've always kind of thought like like that's interesting. They was like, it's a muscle car. Oh, and then like because I don't know too many people that are really into muscle cars like that enough to race in that sense. You know what I'm saying? They're all looking for faster and it's the AV, so you know exactly what everybody out here is driving. So it's like you can hear them.
Oh my God.
Not going fast.
I have a neighbor that has a Honda, and he just like revs the piss out of that thing. And I don't know why. Like, I want to find him and just be like, why? What's the point? Like, you just sit in your driveway with your foot floored.
Flooding
why?
it.
What is going on?
In neutral. Like, I don't get it. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, this is like a very like calculated like approach to it. That's how I was looking into it. But yeah, so definitely have a unique one of a kind car. And then you were saying, cut you off like halfway through that.
What was I saying?
You're just talking about you bought the Maverick. You know what I'm saying? You have it's not all in one piece. You talking about racing it?
I built the Maverick in 2012.
Built it from like
and-
what stage though? I cut you off again.
It was running. It had the
Okay.
original motor in it. It was running. It had absolutely no power.
Mm.
I couldn't even do a burnout with it. So pulled that motor out, put a motor out of actually like one of these cars
Oh wow.
in it.
You guys can't see it, but the gray mirror is next to us.
The gray mirror. You don't even know it's called the gray mirror. You did so much research.
Oh come on. I made sure that we were gonna. If I knew I was gonna have some holes, but I was like, it's cool as long as I know like X, Y, and Z. I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
So but yeah, the gray mirror guys behind us will link in the description. So you were saying?
Had a friend that had a crashed car, one of these like hit in the rear, so the engine was fine. So I took the engine out of that, put it in my Maverick, put some little parts on there that I could afford, that I could find on Craigslist that, didn't break the bank.
Bow.
And I went and raced it, and it was really slow, and I would just make passes and passes and passes. Well, I didn't even race it at first.
And passes are just you going through
Just
one
make-
drag,
yeah.
2 drag, 3 drag. Okay, making sure I knew.
So a pass is, well, back then it was a quarter mile.
Mm.
So you do a burnout, you bring the car, like bring it up in RPM, then you let off the brake and you go. Like that's, and then so from starting line to finish line, that's your pass.
Okay.
So I would just basically practice. I'm kind of weird. Like I want to be 100% perfect on something before I go do it.
and
So
do
I
it.
would, like every night I would go out to the road out here, which doesn't exist anymore, but it was G and 40th.
Oh wow.
They chip sealed it. People still race out there, but it's not the same.
What is a chip seal?
It's like the really gravelly type
Okay.
of
I've never heard of.
surface. You
I've
can't
never
race
heard of
on
it
it.
called. Yeah, I've never heard of a chip. That's interesting.
Us street racers, we know a lot about the compound in the street.
You guys are. What is it? I forgot what it's called. It's like you can go to school for it. I can't remember the name. There's like a name for like knowing different.
University?
Like no, there's a name for like knowing different like gravel. I forgot the fucking name.
Oh,
It's like
a geologist?
it's something like that.
Or
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
rocks.
Same idea.
Yeah.
I mean, they gotta make it some way, right? You know what I mean? But damn, there's a name. It's gonna bother me. I'll remember. But continue.
A street compound
Person.
enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
Human.
Hey, make it a course. Get right.
I'm gonna do it.
Come on.
I'm gonna learn everybody.
So like I said, so you said you bought you were trying, you're practicing, and
Practicing. Then I started. There's out here every Saturday. There's a place. I don't even know where it is anymore. It's terrible. Where everybody meets, and you negotiate races. Rarely ever happens. But I was a girl, and I had this Maverick. And nobody knows what a Maverick is. It's just some old junky car, and it's
Yeah.
a girl. Girls can't drive.
at all.
I got so many races. So many races.
Oh,
I
yeah.
whooped everybody out here. Everybody.
Yeah, look at the camera when you say that.
Everybody.
Let them know. Let them know they underestimated you and they paid for it.
They did.
I feel you.
10 years ago, everybody underestimated me. But I mean, it gets around. You're a blonde girl in a Maverick. So that's another thing. It's a
Yeah.
rare car. It's a girl. Once you start beating people, they're like, beware of the blonde girl in a
Yeah.
Maverick. You can't be like, oh, that wasn't me. That was another blonde girl in a Maverick. No.
That was somebody from down below. She came up here and fucked y'all up. I'm a different one. Let's try it.
Totally
Come on.
different.
Totally different person. I'm with it.
Yeah, people found out who I was, and it was hard to get a race after a little while. So I ended up getting a race down in the valley, and I lost. I totally underestimated the way that they raced. Like, okay, so street racing out here is so easy. Like, we go to a secluded road where there's no traffic and nobody's there, and the cops don't show up for hours, and you can just race all night, and it doesn't even feel illegal because,
Yeah, exactly.
But you go down to LA and it's like there's traffic. There's hordes of people that are blocking traffic.
Yeah.
The cops show up every 25 minutes. So if you don't get in and get your shit done like right now,
Yeah.
you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Or
They're not going to hold you, though.
I don't know if I would go to jail.
You might not go to jail.
Tony's been to jail.
I feel like have you ever been arrested? For that.
No.
Okay. You did it right then.
No. I've had a cop like pull up behind me as I was doing a burnout and going, "Hey, that's illegal."
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, out here, they definitely take you to jail. If they catch you out here. I feel like that's for sure. But you're
Out
not gonna
here?
stay. Like, yeah, because they're like,
No, I mean they don't keep you in jail. You'll go
Yeah,
like overnight and
you
they'll
get a
release you
booking,
the
yeah.
next morning.
Yeah,
They'll
exactly.
impound your car and you just go pick it up.
yeah,
But
still, yeah, no, but I feel you. So it's a different. It's just totally different out there. It's a lot more faster paced. I'm guessing.
it's a lot more risky, I guess. I don't know. It's different. It was 10 years ago. It was more eye opening to me. Now that I go down there, it's like it's whatever.
Yeah,
Now that I'm used to it, but the first time I went down there, as opposed to this, it was different.
different.
Surprised me. And I broke a leaf spring on my car on that race, so my car was like all over the place, and I was in and out of the gas, and I was trying.
What is a leaf spring?
It's a suspension part.
I just want to make sure that we were all. That's what I thought when then you said you were in and out of traffic. It sounded like it. Don't want to be wrong. You know. What I mean?
So they're like, some cars have coil springs in the back,
Yeah,
make the back like bouncy,
yeah.
like dampen the bounce,
Yeah.
the struts.
The struts.
I'm really bad at explaining
No,
things.
no. It's okay.
I'm the
'cause,
worst.
You know,
But-
I get you.
So somehow it's just like a coil spring type thing. But on older cars like Mavericks, they have leaf springs. So it's this big, long, like bowed like thing under the back. Like the part that the tires goes on attaches.
I'm seeing it.
So it like
Yeah,
it's
like
springy
it's
thing.
like a
It's a
spring.
spring.
Yeah, it's a spring.
So one of them broke. So
So
anytime
you're just fucking.
anytime I got on the gas, the car wants to like squat and go, but it would do it sideways, and I would go.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking dangerous as fuck. Oh my God.
Yeah, on the street where there's just cars driving by and like
Opposite
going
sides.
through a stoplight side. Oh, it's insane.
Again,
I made some bad choices.
how
when I
we've
was
gotten
younger.
here. How we've gotten here is
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Bad.
You know, but I also want to touch just a great segue. We'll get farther into your story, but like the big thing that I've noticed, and it's a cliche. It's a super gigantic, enormous cliche. But the whole thing with anybody that sees a girl racing, they automatically think she's a car girl. That's it. She's just around. She changes her tires every now and then. She might put tint on the windows. That's as far as it's getting. You are actually underneath the car. As you can see, she speaks about everything and with great knowledge and depth.
Very terrible at explaining everything, but I understand it, I swear.
You know what I mean? But like I said, even from watching your videos and then just having, just conversation before this, like, you're really, really kind of, you're on the other side of that line. Like you're definitely not just a cargo. You're actually damn near you're a mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no gender for that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're really actually doing it. And I mean, is just because, like, obviously you have the passion for it. It's not just an aesthetic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that goes a long way. And that's another reason why I wanted to sit down and talk to you about it, just because it's very, I guess, all the time is very uncommon, because I don't think I know anybody that knows me that knows cars don't fucking beat me up about this.
Oh, no.
I'm
he
just
knows
saying,
absolutely nobody that knows anything about cars. All you people that he knows.
I might not. I just be hearing crazy shit. So it is like, and especially like from the girls' side, I don't really hear much. I know girls that go to meets and things like that, but it's not really anything in depth. So I'd say, like, I kind of, did you just kind of decide, like, okay, I really want to, do my own shit, along with, kind of learning, or like, how did all that happen? Like, did you go to school for it? Like, how did you pick it up?
I just learned it along the way. I still don't know everything. Like my street car it's a whole new setup for me. It's a stick shift car. I've always raced an automatic, so I'm learning a whole new side of things, and I'm learning a lot more about carbureted cars as opposed to fuel injected cars, and I'm learning so much more. I've been in this for 10 years now, and you'd think after 10 years of doing something you'd know everything, but I don't. Like, this is a whole new avenue of
of car shit, just
of
fucking,
things, and like there's so much. It's hard. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of females in the car world that have
giving you guys a better rap.
like a new Mustang, and they change the wheels and they put spike lug nuts on it and they paint their calipers, and there's
I'm sorry.
That's still like a car enthusiast. Like they still like to work on their car, but they just do it in a different way. They like more of the aesthetic of it. I like
the
going
dirty part.
fast. That's it.
The faster
Like,
part of it, you know?
My car on a good pass off the line, it would pull 3 Gs. And that's like the craziest feeling in the world to like be thrown back in your seat like that. And it's the adrenaline of it and it's really cool.
Like a goddamn fighter pilot.
It's really cool.
That's crazy as hell. That's wild. And that's just from you, obviously, just adding, taking things off, doing. I know we're talking about the one that isn't around, is here, but it's not here. Was that in national? That had a Pro Charger on it, right? See, guys, we're getting there.
You know everything. You're a genius.
10 years. So we're fucking figuring it out. But I mean, so that also, I'm gonna guess, is something that you kind of went out and figured out. Is like, you know, kind of why didn't you go naturally aspirated and then doing that? Like, what was your choices on that?
The first thing actually that I had on my car was nitrous, and there was an issue with the nitrous where like wiring was wrong, and I blew a head gasket, and I needed to replace the head gasket in my car, and I was like, that's it, I'm done. Nitrous sucks. It was bad tuning.
Yeah,
you have to know what you're doing with nitrous to get it to work right. Which is funny because it's the cheapest power adder you can put on your car. So it's the most common one that people that don't know what they're doing put on their car.
And half of it just doesn't work.
You just have to be really smart with it. And the people that put it on their car aren't very smart with it, besides a few. So I found a supercharger on Craigslist. Everything was on Craigslist.
Everything is on Craigslist.
Everything,
Fuck.
yeah.
I got this life from Craigslist today, so you know what? I feel you. I understand. Craigslist is
we are illuminated by Craigslist right now.
Sponsor me. How would you sponsor by Craigslist? Like, just
if you do, let me know because I need a sponsor from them.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna give you a gift card or some shit. Like, I don't know how that would even work. Like,
can you imagine meeting up with someone in a back alley? Like, hey, I got this Craigslist gift card. Do you take the Craigslist gift card?
You don't recognize me? I'm the Craigslist. I'm the face of Craigslist. Like, that's crazy. Anyway, it's like being sponsored by the OfferUp. Like, who's out here with an OfferUp sponsorship? Like, that's again, you giving out.
It's a very broad sponsor. Yeah, it'd be interesting to get it. But
it would be, or like eBay. Like
there's people that are sponsored by eBay. Like some of the big.
But like, what? What are they doing? Like, are they just? Because I know like eBay seems to sell like their own like appliances now, or like they you know, like during like Black Friday they have like their own like little like they'll sell like a vacuum, but like it's not through like a seller, it's just like through them. It's like, so when the fuck did they get like Amazon? Like I just it's kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
I think the people that I know that I don't know personally, they're like super famous, but they're sponsored by like eBay Motors. I think they just give them money.
They have to, and
and
just
they
try
just
to
like write them a check, like here, show up at these events and push this stuff and say eBay Motors 17 times in a video, and we'll give you $20,000.
Probably more than that if it's 20 times.
I'd be happy with $20,000. eBay
Me
Motors.
Too. I don't.
If it's more than that,
what do we got to do?
I'll bid. My bid's at 20.
My bid's at 20. I start there. Like, but no, I mean, I don't know. But yeah, wow, we got very far off the beaten track. But so yeah, you were saying about the naturally aspirated, or like your Pro Charger you got it from Craigslist, and then that you just said, fuck it, this is what we're gonna do. Which one? That's the way to go faster, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna stop?
No.
It's just like a forever thing.
It's
because I'm curious. Because like no one ever talks. Like everybody talks about like you know, racing's fun. Like the whole idea, the whole culture is great and everything. But like, do you see yourself like slowing down, becoming a pig chief or some shit like that? You know what I'm saying? Or do you just want to?
I mean, I kind of have slowed down for the last year. I've slowed down and I'm driving my street car, which is a lot slower than my race car was. But the hell? Oh, probably Tony out there somewhere. So in a sense, I have slowed down, but I'm still like I'm learning a new platform. So it's.
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, I mean, slow down in the sense where like
don't race
like
anymore?
don't race. Like in a sense where it's like you're only slowing down because, like you said, you want to perfect what you got going on. You want to be, at that level at the time that, when you start to really show out. So, I mean, that makes sense. But, like, slowing down to learn is different than slowing down to stop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I don't think so. A lot of people, when they slow down, it's because they get married or have kids, or their wife doesn't want them to spend all their money, their rent money on the race car.
Spending their child's college fund on a Pro Charger.
Yeah, that's something I would do, which is, that's a bad idea.
I get it.
So Tony and I are probably the worst for each other because we're both like, hey, I think we should buy this car and go race over here. And it's never like, you know what, financially, that's a bad idea. It's always like, fuck yeah, let's go do that. That sounds like a great idea. Do we have money? Yeah, we got enough. We'll figure it out.
We'll make it make sense.
It's fine.
It's cool.
We'll sell some more floors. It'll happen.
I mean, that's fun. I mean,
it's a good thing and it's a bad thing altogether because we're always like, we're always like each other's best supporters.
Yeah.
But also, there's no like sane person in the room to be like, hey,
how about we draw it back a little bit?
You guys have been out of town racing half the year. Maybe you should not do that.
I mean, but you guys, every race that you guys go to, like, there's a pot involved, right? Like, there's like a certain amount of bread involved, right? I'm guessing, like, are all of them like, or are you exhibitioning just like?
No, there's always like an amount of money involved in it, but it doesn't pay for it. If we went out and we raced every race and we won every race, it wouldn't pay for all the money that we spend. Like in November we drove from, we went to Vegas and then we drove to Vegas, drove back, and then drove from here to South Carolina.
You drove?
Truck and trailer with a race car.
Oh, you spent, oh my God.
A lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot.
Oh my God.
So we drove South Carolina. We made one pass at a track in South Carolina just to test. And then we drove from South Carolina to Georgia. And we did a race there. And I think the pot for the race there was, $5,000? And then we drove from there to Vegas for another race.
Uh-huh.
And the pot for that race was $3,500. We didn't win either. They called the race. There was still like 5 cars left in Georgia. So we got a portion of the pot.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like $1,000.
What the
Yeah.
Yo.
So we spend like, $4,500 in fuel.
Yeah, like
to win $1,000 out there.
Yeah, I mean, at least you guys had a nice dinner or something like that. Celebrate that, or went to another car part, depending on how we're looking at it.
Well, so the car that we were racing wasn't ours. It's our friend Eddie's. He's the guy that would tune my car.
Mm-hmm.
He owns a shop down in Simi Valley. So it's his car, but Tony is driving it for him.
Okay.
Tony's amazing. He's a great driver. He drives this thing. He's the coolest guy in the world.
We'll get Tony on here next, guys.
Yeah.
We'll get Tony on here next. That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you guys swap, had people drive other people's car. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that's actually more popular than I would think. Like, if I build a car, I want to drive it. Like,
Yeah,
I want to get in there and feel it.
And
but also, Eddie's a bigger guy.
Little ass car.
It's not a little car. Tony's a bigger guy too. Tony's like 260 right now. He's not a little guy.
But like, he must be littler than Eddie. Smaller.
A little bit.
Smaller than
yeah.
Eddie. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, he's definitely.
I'm sorry,
smaller
Eddie.
than Eddie.
If Eddie sees this, I'm
Eddie,
sorry.
Eddie knows. He's a bigger guy.
Yeah, okay. So,
but also, Eddie tunes the car. He likes to watch it from the starting line. Like, he likes to see what's going on and be in tune with all that.
He's more of a mechanic, like more of an inside guy.
He's very intelligent with the computers and like the inner working of the fuel ratio and all the timing and everything. He's a genius at that stuff. He's really good at it.
I learned about that fuel ratio thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you guys are damn near chemists, you know that? Mm-hmm. Like, you guys are like mathematicians, chemists, and like stunt doubles. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. But I learned like you have to have like isn't it like, I fucking forgot all of it. It's like the amount of fuel should be like, you can't have too much fuel in like the car or something like that. It's gonna like fuck it up, and you have to like sit there with the carburetor and like let it out and like
If it's carbureted, so that car is fuel injected, so it's controlled by a computer. Basically, how much it's controlled by the injectors you have, the fuel pump you have. There's so much that goes into, especially a fuel injected car. But
I can only imagine. It doesn't seem like as easy as sticking something into the carburetor and letting it run out of idle and just idle the fuel down. See?
Look at you.
We're figuring it out.
You know so much.
We're figuring it out.
Oh my goodness.
I actually learned
You're
that
blowing me away.
I actually learned that a little bit from your video. Because
Really?
you guys did it. You guys don't know what video it was.
Probably the video with this car. We had a lot of issues with the carburetor in this car.
Yeah, because you guys just got a new one from that. Or just neither you got a new one, you took it out of your car.
Oh, yeah, my street car.
Yeah, so you
we
took
put
it out.
new...
It's purple. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I'm retaining. I'm trying, guys. You know.
Yeah, the purple one was the best one actually, because we took the purple one out and put a different one in, and it runs like crap.
Yeah. So you guys, and then you guys were talking about. I don't know. He damn near whispered it, and I was just like, "Huh, fuel." I'm like, kind of looked into it, and then the guy I told you about. Shout out Jesse. If you ever see this, just know I talked about you. But he was telling me about it too. But I was like, okay, so between that and then seeing what you guys are doing, I said, oh, so you guys have to actually let the car idle to even it out. Mm-hmm. Forgot the reason.
Yeah, you set the idle and make sure it idles correctly, like it's not revved up too high and idle. You turn the idle screw.
And then it makes a bunch of different noises.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the idle will go up or go down depending. Yeah.
I don't, like I said, y'all deserve like a Pulitzer Prize because that's fucking crazy. You guys like damn near came. So this shit is just such an interesting, like, I don't know. It's very crazy how much you know about like just a vehicle. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like a regular fuel ratio is different than, say, if you run like E85. I think you use like twice as much fuel if you're running E85. And you use like 3 times as much fuel if you're using alcohol, which is like the M1 methanol. Or you have to know what fuel you're running, the type of fuel ratio you need to run, the load that you want your injectors to be running at. There's so much that goes into it.
I mean, like, and then like it does affect how the car runs during the pass if the fuel ratio is off, right?
Yeah. So if you have too much fuel going in, it's not quite as dangerous for the motor. Mm-hmm. More fuel is better than less fuel, but if you have less fuel, so more fuel it's running rich.
Yeah,
less
it's running
fuel,
rich. That's the word I was looking for.
Richen it up or lean it out. So less fuel is running lean. Mm-hmm. You make more power if you run a little lean, but it's dangerous. It's there's a word.
There's a word. I'll look for the word.
Man.
I'm telling you.
There's a word in there.
There is.
There's a perfect word to describe this, and it's not my brain. It's somewhere besides my brain.
It's okay. I'll come to you soon. the fucking aneurysm trying to remember the word.
There.
I don't know the word.
Can't
help you.
It's dangerous.
It's not a good thing.
It'll cause detonation, which causes problems in the motor. It can blow holes in pistons and do some angry stuff.
Sounds very...
Some stuff that you don't want to do.
Yeah. Like you got to rebuild the shit after that.
But then there's also timing. So the time during the cycle of the motor in which the spark plug goes off.
Yeah.
That's your timing. So do you want it to go off, earlier or later as the piston's going up or down or, So the more power you make, the less timing you can run. The more timing you have, the more power you make. There's so much that goes into it.
And then you just have to run through all of those different tests to figure out which one works for you, I'm gonna guess. Mm-hmm. But you have to do it like in real time. It can't be like...
Well, that's why they have dynos.
Okay.
So Eddie, the person that owns the car that Tony's been driving...
is that the carburetor guy?
No, that's Lunchy. Lunchy's the carburetor guy. He's hilarious.
He's a funny guy.
Dude, you should have him on here.
You heard it. Come on. Let's figure it out.
He's so interesting. He's got stories for days.
Can't wait.
He's incredible. Where was it? Oh, Eddie. So he has a dyno at his shop. So you can take a car to a dyno and run it and do like hits on the dyno, and you can see where it's running. That way you're not at the track breaking the car to try and
just whittling it down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just like Eddie's been tuning things for a while, so he'll know like a bass tune where to start. Mm. And if you have fuel injection, like Holley or Fuel Tech or any type of like system that runs fuel injection, ignition, and all that, they'll have parameters that they'll correct. So it'll go like, you don't want your fuel to be richer than 12-1.
Okay.
So if it gets to 12-1, it'll start leaning it out automatically. But you don't want it to rely on that. So you have to do your own tune to make it run perfectly without corrections.
Huh. So you guys, even if it is a computer, you guys don't rely on that shit at all.
Yeah. So the computer will correct it, but you don't want to rely on it. You want the tune to be perfect the way it is, because what if a sensor goes wrong?
Yeah.
Like if you have a sensor, it runs off of O2 sensors, which is in the exhaust. So the O2 sensors in the exhaust reads the exhaust coming out, and it tells you how rich or how lean it is, and the computer can correct based on that. But if that sensor's bad and it's reading way off, it'll correct wrong, and then you'll blow your motor up. So it's
shit.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, Eddie got a fucking job. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. That sounds some shit.
And we'll be at the track, and he'll be tuning 5 or 6 cars at a time at one race. All these cars have to go up together to race, and he's got to do all the tunes on all the cars and look at all the data and do.
I hope he's getting paid.
I don't know
well.
how he gets paid very well.
I hope so, because that does not sound like a job that I would want for free. That does not sound like a passion I would want to do anything.
I don't think people really respect tuning as much as they should. I mean, the people that need tuners, they respect tuning like they should, but there's a select few people that think that there's no point in having a tuner and you can do it yourself, which
I guess you can, but not
if
really.
you learn it all yourself, you can, but it's a lot of information to know, and it's a lot of trial and error, and it's a lot of knowing different combinations and knowing, like, if this happens, it could be this, this, or this. So if all you know is your car and you're just learning your car as you go, it's hard for you to know everything to know, because things have to go wrong.
For you to know how to correct them.
Yeah, it's
just trial and error, but your trial and error can be very expensive depending on how bad the error was. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Side note, moving on, that was great. I hope everybody, I can't wait to
I'm sorry if nobody followed lots of information right there.
Rewind it. It's okay. That's what we're here for. But I do want to ask, because we keep talking about the car that's here, it's not here. What happened? Because I've heard you, I think you explained it when we were with Nick. Hi, Nick.
Nick, you're supposed to be here and you're not.
Bitch ass nigga.
And you suck.
Yeah. I'm just going to send him this part. That's all I'm going to say. So.
Nick sucks big balls.
Facts. Huge ones. Ginormous. I hope this gets me in trouble for bullying, because that's how I exactly mean it. I mean it.
My video that went out today sucks because you didn't touch it, and that's my fault, but it's still your fault.
Gotta work faster. No. We're working at
I have to work faster.
We're working at the Tess, what's it called, the Tess sweatshop.
Oh, yeah.
Work faster. Anyway, I can't put that in there. I
figured that's just for Nick. So.
That's just for Nick. It's gonna be great.
Just for Nick.
So that's from. Yeah. So, I remember you telling me sort of what happened. I don't remember the entire thing. I just know what happened, like the obviously the initial part. So what happened? She had a beautiful black.
It was beautiful from 10 feet away.
It was a nice looking car. I don't think I ever seen it. You had a white car when you were over there, and
like my Corolla.
I don't know what it was. It's really fucking loud because you left and we still heard you. Like
the truck?
I don't
remember. I've driven so many cars.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember.
It wasn't the smart car if it was loud.
It was loud as fuck because I think me and Patrick were outside, and you left, and I don't know what we were doing outside. I think I was waiting for like a DoorDash order or some shit, and you left, and we could hear it. And he's like, "Fuck, that's still her car." And you could tell you had already left the neighborhood. That's
probably a street car then. That's probably the car that's right out there.
It's probably that one.
Probably that one's pretty loud.
Loud as fuck. I don't know. I don't know how you guys turn it on with all these people. They must not give a fuck because that shit is.
Nobody lives in the house next door. They don't care.
Oh, great.
They have parties.
Okay, so they can't say anything.
No, I mean,
No, they can't say
they're
anything.
real cool.
Can't say anything.
They own that house and they own the house across the street. They're
Must be nice.
big families, big parties,
Big
lots
everything.
of stuff. We don't complain about them. They don't complain about us. It's
Okay.
a good.
It's a trade off. Well, yeah. So what exactly happened? Walk us through the day. I know.
Oh
I'm
gosh,
sorry.
through the day.
Through the day. I want the day.
That was. Where do I start?
The
So
beginning. I'm sorry. I have to say it. I love when people say that just so I can say
the
that.
beginning.
The start, the beginning.
Where it all started.
AD.
Oh no. BC before crash.
Before. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So there's a race in Vegas every year. It's actually the same one that we took the car that Tony raced in November. Every year in November, it's been a race that I've looked forward to or like looked up to. When I first got my black car, my Maverick 2012, I used to watch this race, like the live feed from the race, and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna race at that race one day. You just watch." It's like one of the big races on this side of the country. So, I lost my train of thought.
Biggest race this side of the Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
Can't wait.
So before that race was coming up, Tony is very competitive in everything. So he posted on the internet that I was the fastest girl on small tires.
Facts. Facts. Because I don't know about the two axles. No, so I don't know anything about that. But small tires, I think you got it. Anyway, see? Huh? You know what I mean?
Maybe.
Come on, come clean.
Maybe.
Come
So
on.
the person that runs this race that happens every November, he was like, okay, I'm going to run with that. We're going to do a girls race. So a small tire girls race. Girls on small tires. Anything else? You must be born a girl. And you must be on small tires.
Stop.
That's it. Those were the rules.
Those are the rules.
So we had 8 cars show up, 8 girls. And the day that all this happened was the day of this race. So we get to the track in the morning. We get one test pass. So one chance to like run down the track before the actual race happens. And in the test pass, my car left the hardest it's ever left. It felt so good for about 30 feet. And then there was a huge like just something happened.
Yeah.
And it felt like it didn't have any power, so I just like babied it back. And I was like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Something's broken. I turned the car's super loud. So supercharged cars,
Yeah.
so loud. They will blow your eardrums out. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
I didn't know that. Oh, shit.
Like I've been on the starting line next to a very loud supercharged car and like felt my eardrums vibrate. And it's not a fun feeling.
I don't think that
So
would be.
if you want to go to the racetrack, bring earplugs. Yeah.
Earmuffs. Fuck that.
Well, yeah, they have those too.
Gotta have both.
So I shut my car off and my car is just kind of rolling off the track and I can hear just metal clanking and grinding and just like not good sounds.
Yeah.
So we tow a car back to the pits and we have probably 45 minutes until the start of this girls race and I am the first pair up. So
of course. Of course.
it was terrible. So we get back. I broke the rear end. So the rear end, I don't think I have. Sometimes I have spare gears, but it's like it's a gear and a thing, and they like work together to move the tires.
Okay.
So it's like the transmission, the motor turns the transmission turns the drive shaft, and the drive shaft goes into the rear end, and it's the gears that make the tires.
Okay. I can actually understand that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those gears were broken. We had spare gears. We didn't have spare bearings. I found some from like a neighbor that was pitted down the way. So we changed the gears, start the car. There's no boost. The blower's broke.
God damn.
So it actually wasn't the blower, thankfully, because I don't know if I've had to use somebody else's blower before, and that was a mess, and it took more than 45 minutes. So it was, so there's an engine, there's a crank inside the engine, which is what like all the pistons go onto, and it moves all the pistons. It's like it's a thing, and it turns and it moves.
You know what's crazy? I know what this one is too. I know. I can see it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the blower that I run is a crank-driven blower. So it's attached to it with this big contraption, all these metal pieces, and the crank attaches to this gear, and this gear turns this gear, and that's you get the gear ratio, so you know how much boost you're making, or like you can change the gear
Tuning.
Yeah. So the part that attaches this whole contraption to the crank is what broke. So the teeth are aluminum.
Damn.
And they all just like stripped out of it.
Oh
I don't know
God.
if it was the blower piece that broke first or if it was the rear end that broke first, but they both happened at the same time. So now I only have like 20 minutes to change this. And I get on like a little electric scooter and start zipping around through the pits to try and find somebody else that I know that runs a Pro Charger that might have this part. I find somebody, Kenny Hubbard, who's an amazing person. He's saved my ass multiple times at the racetrack. He has all of the spare parts. He brings a welder to the track with him. Like,
shout out to
he's
Kenny.
amazing.
Whoever Kenny is, great guy.
Awesome guy.
Uh-huh.
Has a really cool daughter who races too. She's awesome.
Shout out her.
So he had the part. I took it from him. It's like a $600 part.
Gave him a high five and kept going.
No, I called Pro Charger like as we were changing it. Well, right after I changed it, and I was like, "Hey, Kenny gave me this. Please send him one. Bill me for it."
Yeah.
Like, so
Shout out Pro Charger.
Pro Charger's amazing. They've done that for me a couple times with parts that I break because I'm hard on parts.
Hey, they're made to be hard on.
So we change it.
I'm fucking stomach. That's my
Do you need
stomach.
anything? Do you want
No.
bubbly water? Do you want?
No.
So we change that. We get it done just in time. Like we're thrashing. There's a whole video on it.
I think I've seen it. But anyway.
Yeah, so we're
Thrashing is
absolutely...
such a funny word, though.
Really?
Thrashing is a funny ass word. I'm sorry, because like thrashing is like, I just think of like the alligators that do like the death rolls.
Oh yeah, no,
It's thrashing.
no, exactly. Like it's like parts are everywhere, tools are being thrown, like there's just shit everywhere, like everything's a mess.
Total chaos.
It's just everybody's trying to work on getting this one thing done. Like we pitted with a few friends that had their cars there too. Excuse me, but they weren't in the girls' race, so it was like they knew that I had to go up, so they dropped everything they were doing, and we all just like came together on my car to try and get this thing done.
One happy family.
This whole race is only happening because Tony had to call everybody out and say that I was the fastest girl, so I have to show out.
So you have to win. There's no way
have
around.
to, right?
Yeah, you have to.
So it was a mess, but we made it.
Uh-huh.
The girl I was racing for first round, she of course was first in line.
Yeah, of course.
Like when we were almost done with it, I took the scooter up there. She was already waiting in line to go up, and I was like, "Hey, I'm grabbing my car right now. Like, I'll be here.
Yeah.
Good race, good luck. I hope
Yeah.
I hope everything's good." And she was like, "Mm-hmm."
Yeah. It makes it even better. It makes it even better. It makes it even better.
So I get my car. I'm like, you have to wear like a fire suit and all this stuff. And I just throw all my shit in the car
Yeah.
and like drive up there and start getting dressed in the lanes just so I know that I'll be there in time. So that was a lot.
I can only imagine. It sounds like a lot.
So I get up there just as they're pulling the cars up to get onto the track. So, God, I say so a lot.
It's Californians say like and so all the time, so it's okay.
God, it's the worst. So,
yeah, there you go. Let's just get right back to it.
we pull up to the lanes, we do our burnouts, and so there it goes again.
I felt it.
There,
Now I'm paying attention to it.
the tree, the lights that go in the middle that tell you to go,
Yeah.
it's called the tree, the Christmas tree or whatever. So there's
Some both sides.
there's lasers that on the track that see where your wheel's at. So there's two lasers. The first laser lights the first bulb, second laser lights the second bulb. When you light both bulbs, that means you're ready. If you light one bulb and the person you're racing lights two, you have 7 seconds to light your second bulb.
Okay.
So she lit her first bulb and I lit my first bulb. I was waiting for her to light her second bulb and she never did.
Okay.
So I hear her, like I hear her engine rev up. She gets up on the brake, and she hadn't lit her second bulb.
Okay.
And I knew like she had a nitrous car. So nitrous cars and blower cars, they can light both bulbs and then get on the brake. Turbo cars, they have to light one bulb and start revving the car. They take forever
To charge up and shit
to
like
bring RPMs up because they're turbo. They're not
that. Yeah. I know that.
lame.
Boo. Boo.
Like all my friends have turbos.
Boo.
You guys suck. So they bring it up in RPMs and then they do what they call a bump in. So they have a button that'll like jerk the car forward when they're already up there. So I knew she was nitrous and she should be in both beams before she starts getting up in the brakes. So I'm like, what the hell are you doing over there?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Exactly.
And I didn't know what was going on. So she just takes off. I was like, what? Did I miss something here? So I light the second beam and it felt like forever. But apparently it wasn't forever because it's supposed to go off within 7 seconds. So obviously it was there for less than 7 seconds because my light never dropped. And I just left. And I didn't. So when one person red lights or doesn't light both beams and they leave early, if I light both beams and leave after, my wind light should come on.
Yeah.
And it didn't. So I thought like, okay, it's still a race or something. I didn't know what was going on. So I made a full hit. But when I crossed the finish line, my rear tires spun. And have you ever hit black ice?
Yeah.
Or like hydroplaned a car?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it felt. Like you're
just
driving
and
all of a sudden like you turn the wheel and nothing happens. So
oh my God.
I was going and as soon as I let off the gas at the very finish line, I was going like 165 miles an hour. And
it's
I
200
was
miles per hour.
Like the car just starts slowly drifting towards the right wall. And it was like I was turning the wheel and it wasn't doing anything. And it just slowly kept going towards the wall. And I was like, this is it.
Is it?
Like I've heard stories of people crashing at the finish line and it's never good. And I know I don't have enough cage in this car to protect me. And I know like I don't have everything I need to protect a 160 mile an hour crash. Like this is my last moment on earth. I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
And like I hit the first wall and as I'm hitting it, I'm like, this isn't that bad. This is fine. It's all going to be good.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hit this wall and then it's going to be done and I'm going to live. And then as soon as I hit the right wall, it took a hard turn towards the left and it was going. So like drag strip, you have concrete barriers that go down both sides. I was in the right lane and I hit the whole right side. I mean, it didn't feel good.
Yeah.
But I survived
But you
it.
survived it.
And I was like, cool, I'm awake. I didn't get knocked out. I'm not dead.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I'm just gonna slow down because it hit this wall.
Yeah, I'm just going to,
Yeah.
No. It hit that wall and then it went like this straight into the second wall. And that was the bad hit. And they say when you get in an accident like this, don't try and steer it. I'm dumb. I don't listen. You know, if you're going towards a wall, you're going to try and like
it's
not
nature.
hit it. You don't think about it. You just do it.
Yeah.
So as I'm going towards the other wall, I'm trying to turn away from it.
Yeah.
And I hit the wall really like so hard my windshield popped out. It was.
Oh my God.
I had a GoPro on my windshield and it popped out and it was in the air and you could see the car. You can't see it hit the wall because it came out as it hit, but you see it turn and go towards
the other wall.
The other wall again. And it's in the air. You see the shadow of like the glass on the ground. Like and it's flying through the air. The car's going this way.
You have footage of the crash?
Yeah.
Bro, GoPro might be the most indestructible shit on earth.
Okay. So also they have GPS data, which is how I know how fast I was going. And like they have G meters. So it shows you like the G meter of when I hit the wall and they're so cool.
Shout out to
And this is a GoPro 8.
Shout out to GoPro, period.
They have a GoPro 11 now.
Imagine. They probably tell you, probably do your taxes for you and shit. That's crazy.
I wish. If they can, I'm getting 11. I only have 10.
So, Brayden doesn't know you're good?
So when it hit the second wall, I was still trying to drive it, and the force of hitting the wall made my left arm, go through the steering wheel. And when it hit the wall, the steering turned because the wheel hit the wall. Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my. Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So don't drive a car if you're crashing it. Like, just fucking hands off.
Just let it happen.
Jesus, take the wheel, and that's it.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So I broke my left arm. I didn't know it at the
whole
time.
arm?
This bone.
Okay.
This one.
Like your wrist.
The end, yeah.
Oh shit. That's all?
Yeah, that's it.
Huh.
Surprisingly, I thought I was gonna die. I really
I'm right there with you.
it.
I thought it would be over with too. God damn.
Yeah.
Well, you're here now though.
I am. Definitely.
And then you have a new car though.
Kinda.
Working on it.
I have a shell of a car that needs to go to a chassis shop so they can put all the bars and make it safe.
As fuck.
Unlike my last one.
As fuck. It needs to be safe as fuck. Well, guys, you're going to be on here again. This is going to be a part 2 of this because I'm not done. But we're almost like 2 hours. So
oh, my goodness.
So, look, guys, this has been the first car episode. Just, definitely different from what we usually do on here. I'm very happy that you could be on here.
Thank you.
You're the strongest people I've ever met because after I would have crashed into a wall, I would have been done. I'd have been on the scooter for the rest of my life. Fuck that. Nah, because, anyway, thank you again.
Thank you.
And, this is Life in Times. I don't know if I said that in the beginning. But also, is there any last words before we close out?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Nothing you just want to tell anybody? Anybody watching?
Get into drag racing. It's great. You won't have enough money if you ever want to do drugs. So, you'll spend all your money on race cars and you won't have money to make bad decisions. So, it's cool.
This is the Tess episode, guys.
Thanks.
Bow.
Let's get to the point. Let's get to the point. Nigga try to run me up and that pistol gon' point. Laser gon' point. Beams gon' point.